Okay, hello everyone. Now, I'm Ludmilla. Okay, now I want to explain about definition of translation. Consists in reproducing in the receptor language the closest natural equivalent of the source language message, first in terms of meaning and secondly in terms of style. According to Nida, translation is not merely about transferring word from one language to another, but primarily conveying the meaning closely as possible as closely as possible to the original. The priorities are: the first is accurate must come first. Secondly, search also need to be imitated, but secondary additionally, the translation should sound natural to the target language audience. Okay, next, the translation according to Peter Newmark is rendering the meaning of the text into another language in the way the author intended the text. Peter Newmark emphasizes the importance of preserving the author intention in translation. This means the author must not merely translate word for word, but also grasp the author truly mean to communicate. This includes: the first is cultural context, style, appropriate word choice that reflect the original intent. Okay, everyone, the last is interpreting according to Roman Jacobson. Translation involves interpreting verbal signs by means of some other language. Jacobson views the translation as a process of interpreting linguistic signs. The translation involves understanding symbols like word, phrase, sentences in one language and expressing them again in a different language system. The system focuses here on semiotic natural language. Okay, we move to the next topic. Next topic is translation process. Translation process according to Nida and Teber. Nida and Teber propose three main stages of translation process. The first is analysis. The translation deeply analyzes the source language text, including: the first is the analyze the grammatical relationship between word and sentence structures. The second is analyzes individual word and word combination. The goal is to understand the message clearly and simply within the source language structure. And the second is transfer. The material that has been analyzed is mentally transferred from source language to the target language. This is the process of shifting meaning within the translation. The translation is mine. And the last is restructuring. The transfer material is restructured in the target language so that the message can be well received by the target language readers. Okay, next, translation process according to Mildred L. Larsen. L. Larsen divides translation process into three main stages. The first is source language examination. Includes studying the lexicon, language structure, and cultural context of the source language. And the second is source language analysis, analyzing the source language to capture the exact of meaning. And the last is meaning reconstruction, reproducing the same meaning in the target language with using appropriate lexicon, grammatical function, and cultural context of the source language. Okay, now we move to the next topic. The next topic is language function, text categories, and text types. And now the first I want to explain about language function. Roman Jacobson identify 5 language functions. The first is referential function. Referential function is relative meaning of the message in a specific context. And the next is emotive function. Emotive function is the aesthetic aspect of the language. And the third is phallic function. Phallic function is maintaining communication. And the next is cognitive function. Cognitive function is influencing the listener. Example, for example, commanding invitation. And the last one is multilingual function. Multilingual function is language is used to explain language itself. Okay, we move to the next. Next is type categories. Type categories generally refers to the classification of a text based on their content characteristic and communicative purpose. According to Halliday and systematic linguistic, text can be categorized by the dominant language function of a text. For example, the first is factual text. Factual text is containing real and objective events without fabrication. And the next is narrative text. Narrative text is story about events or experiences. And the next is descriptive text. Descriptive text is describing something in the detail. And the last is argumentative text. Argumentative is containing argument and opinion to persuade the readers. Okay, the last is text types. According to Race, text types can be determined based on the dominant function of the text. Namely, the first is informative text. Informative text can express the author feelings or experiences. And the second is operative text. Operative text, it aims at influencing and persuading the readers to act. Okay everyone, we move to the next topic. Next topic is the unit of translation and discourse analysis translation. First, I want to explain about the unit of translation. Vinay and Deborah define the unit of translation as the smallest segment of an utterance whose signs are linked in such a way that they should not be translated individually. Meaning the smallest segment of an utterance whose signs are interconnected and they should not be translated separately. According to Peter Newmark, states that the unit of translation is the smallest segment of an utterance whose signs are linked in such a way that they should not be translated literally, emphasizing the importance of semantic unity within the unit. Peter Newmark also proposed characteristics and main approaches in the unit of translation. Okay, characteristic in the unit of translation. The first is the unit of translation can be a single word, phrase, clause, sentence, or even more than one sentence, depending on the meaning and context of the source, text, and translator's decision. And the second one is the unit is selected based on semantic cohesion and message integrity. So it does not always confirm grammatical boundaries such as word and sentences alone. And there are two main approaches the unit of translation. The first is lexical. The unit of translation is the smallest unit like word, phrase, that cannot be further divided without losing the meaning. And the second one is cognitive approaches. The unit of translation is the smallest unit of attention during the translation process, which can be larger than a word, phrase, depending on focus and context. And then discourse analysis tech. Discourse analysis tech is the study of language structure and function beyond the sentences level, such phrases and entire the text. In translation, discourse analysis helps translators understand the relationship between part of text, social and cultural context, and communicative purposes. According to experts like Halliday, discourse analysis considers coherence, cohesion, and as well as pragmatic function within the text. Okay, we move to the next topic. The next topic is translation ideology. Translation ideology refers to the principle or belief about what is right or wrong, good or bad in a translation, including the ideas about what kind of translation considered the best or most appropriate for the target reader society. It reflects the translator's or community conviction regarding the norms, value, and expectation that shape the translator's practices, the translation practices. According to Ho 2003, the translation ideology is a principle or belief about correctness in translation that as well established within community, similar to Bard's notion of ideology as a cultural. Okay, now we move to the last topic. The last topic is translation method. Translation method, according to Peter Newmark 1988, a prominent of translation scholars classifies translation method into 8 parts and divided into 2 spectrums. The first is search language oriented and the second is target language oriented. The first I wanna discuss about search language oriented. In the search language oriented also have 4 parts. The first is word for word translation. Translating word directly according word in the search language. This method usually used to understand the basic structure of the search language, but often results in stiff and unnatural translation in official context. Okay, the second is literal translation, similar word for word but with attention the grammatical structure of the target language to make it more correct grammatically. However, the word order still follow the search of language as much as possible. Okay, the third is faithful translation, attempt to produce contextual meaning of the search language accurately while preserving style and forms of the search language. It tries to make it more natural than literal translation. Okay, the last is semantic translation. Almost same with faithful translation, but more flexible in handling connotative meaning and cultural nuances, focusing on the faithfulness rather than form. Okay, next I wanna discuss about target language oriented method. In the target language oriented method have 4 parts. The first is adaptation, often used literally works such as poetry, drama, and advertisement. Prioritize the target language and modifies the original context to have the same effect in the target culture's context. And the second is free translation, emphasizing the content and meaning rather than that form. Sentence structure can differ significantly as long as the basic meaning is preserved. Okay, the third is idiomatic translation. Uses expression or idioms common in the target language to convey the meaning of search text naturally and understandably. And the last is communicative translation. Focuses on delivering the message and effect the similar to the search text. Okay, that's all about my explanation, and I say thank you very much.